It works. It works. Hello. Howdy. 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 Boy, have I missed you guys. I tell you what. Holy cow. It's not even funny. It's not even fair. Yeah. I've got all sorts of good excuses. We were 2 weeks ago. I was in Stillman, Oklahoma, doing an install for Samsung, and last week I was on vacation. So I apologize. 2 weeks in a row. You think you felt bad. Think how I felt. Wait. Enough talking about you. Let's talk about me. my dad used to say that to me all the time. Oh boy, it made me chuckle every time. So I'm so glad to see you guys, Rich and Dave and Ron and Gunnar and Tommy. And let me pull up the whole list here. Hold it, I've got it here somewhere. There we go. And Tim and Otis and Ryan and Frank. I'm delighted and excited to see all of you guys. Anybody else I missed? No, there we go. So yeah, it's been, golly gee, it's a lot has happened in 3 weeks since the last time we had a show. A lot has happened and nothing has happened. Yeah, you know how that goes. We are fiercely busy, and Jan and Marie are here. There you go. Do you have to clap? No. Nah, you're just friends. You're just friends hanging out. And I've just been away for a while. So welcome, you're, Irshad. We're glad you're here. Sorry, I mispronounced your name. And Jamie's here. Welcome. Glad to have you. If you guys are watching in chat on Facebook, on the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page, or on YouTube, it'll show up over here so that we can all see it. And if you're doing it on the Streaming Idiots page, Facebook doesn't let vMix kind of put that in. So I see Addison's here. Hey, Addison, welcome. Glad to have you. And if anybody else is watching in that Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, glad to have you too. We just added some more folks. There's Jim. He's just checking in from Sacramento. So what's gone on different in the world? What's changed in the world? Nah, nothing. It's all the same. We are busy as beavers over here, as you can imagine, for folks that need to live stream to keep their business going or to keep their church, keep in contact with everybody in the church. That we're building systems as fast as we can. That doesn't mean we don't have time for yours, but it's a lot of fun. Today, it's rainy in Malmo. I'm sorry about that. It's rainy here too. It's not cold and it's not windy, but it's pouring, probably 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So, but it's not a contest. It's not a contest. We're still in the pre-show, so I guess we ought to go into the show. Let me see if I can find a button for that, and be right back. Yeah, just as I was getting this shot ready. Holy cow. Hold on a second. Let me finish playing with this shot a little bit. It's actually, oh golly. Sorry about that. I thought I had everything set. Let's go to the camera tab. We'll find this camera. We'll go into the PTZ instructions. Let's do a little zoom. There we go. Get that mic out of there. We'll do a little pan, do a little tilt. There we go. That worked out pretty well. Boy, I hit it pretty solid on the first go. Today we're using the BirdDog P200 camera. And in fact, we're going to take a closer look at it. BirdDog's got a big announcement coming up. So if you were caught wind of that, they sent me a for real NDA. I mean, I had to sign it and everything. Holy cow. So I can't tell you anything about their big announcement. I've seen pictures of it, and I've seen the box. I don't have one, and I think there's more than one. I think I can tell you all this. But frankly, I'm not quite sure what it does. It appears to be, yeah, I probably can't say that. I really like the guys at BirdDog, so the whole gang at BirdDog, as a matter of fact. So I'm probably not going to say anything that would get me in bad with them. And you know, I don't want to steal their thunder. They've got a big announcement to make, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, Clint's back! Holy cow! Golly gee whiz! Welcome, sir. And Martin is here. Martin is here. Martin is wondering why. Martin says he thought the image looked better this week. Well, Martin, it was really funny because, what was it, 5 weeks ago when I tried to use this camera for the very first time, I had the frame rate all. I mean, literally, I took the camera out of the box, plugged it in, found the NDI input, brought it in, was going to use it on that show. And you remember, I don't know if you remember that show, but the frame rate was abysmal. It was horrible. And that's because I think I had the camera set for 1080p 5994, and for some reason vMix, well, no, but I brought it into vMix as NDI anyway. For some reason that just didn't, that combination didn't work. And when I set the camera for 1080p 2997, the frame rate fixed itself, and the image was good before, it just, the frame rate was just off. Tom, admit it, you're afraid of Eamon. Well, I'm not, but Eamon takes me out and shows me a good time. He took Sandy and I and you know, what about another 20 streaming idiots out for a good time in Amsterdam back in September. It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. We went to a little Australian pub, and I had a kangaroo burger. Go figure. You know, I guess it was good. I don't remember. Oh my gosh, save my preset now. That's right. So anyway, the BirdDog stuff, I got to be careful the words. I can use stuff though. Stuff is appropriately generic. So the BirdDog stuff is being released tomorrow, I think. Anyway, you know, you would think I would know about that, but I'm going to get one or some and bring them in here and try to figure out what the heck they do. So apparently, I can tell you this, I can fit it, or maybe even more than one of it, in my backpack. So there you go. Yeah, I think the P200 is a winner. In fact, I'm shipping out my last one in stock other than this demo model today. And I understand that they're getting a little difficult to find. So I'm going to go ahead and get an order in for some. I heard that they have a bunch of white ones available, so we'll see. But yeah, I like it a lot. And I've actually got 2 out on demo here locally, and I think they're going to keep them and probably order some more. We made a proposal to a local, well, not local, but a performing arts center about 100 miles from us. And we were going to put 3 into this big, giant, what would you call, I guess you call it a theater, like a good old-fashioned theater. And they were concerned about, you know, the cameras sort of sticking out. And I said, well, you know, we can get an artist to come out here and paint the camera to match the woodwork. And so the camera would, they're very, very silent, and the camera would be, you know, practically invisible. In fact, I've got a shot of the camera. If you haven't seen one, this is one in use. Yeah, this is it right here. Cut. There you go. Let's get that graphic out of the way. And that is my P200. We're going to do what Dave said. We're going to make an input at that position. But I thought you might want to see it move. I mean, you know, what the heck? What good is it having a camera if it doesn't move? So yeah. So we'll go back there. And yeah. So now you get to see what the camera sees. So this is what the camera sees right there. It sees a Logitech C920. So we can, it's kind of like a stare off, you know. There's the P200. There's the Logitech. Which one will blink first? Ta-da! So let's see. Let's get this camera. We did what Dave suggested, and we made a what do you call it? Oh, come on, Tom. You know the words. What do you, a preset. Yeah, thank you very much. But I must have done something wrong with the preset because it didn't take. So we'll come back to that. So you get to see me do this. Oh, this is cool. When I adjust the camera, let me go back to the Logitech for just a second and show you this shot. Here's the Logitech. And can you see the little light at the bottom down there? Let me swivel the camera a little bit so you can see it. And you see how the light changes as the camera moves. I didn't notice that before. It's green all the time, but it goes amber when the camera moves. How about that? Not sure why. Now, it's not a tally light. No, tally light is going to be something different. So let's see. All right, so we got that. And what we want to do, what I wanted to do is to show you guys about this camera. So it's the Alabama Shakespeare Theater. No, Tommy, it's actually over in Mississippi. Sorry about that. So the P200 is a high definition 1080p camera. It'll do 60 frames a second. It's NDI. It's full NDI, full NDI. So this is probably, oh no, it wasn't a frame rate issue I had. I had it plugged into a 100 megabit per second adapter. That's why. I didn't have it on a gigabit adapter. That's why we had a frame rate issue, because it was trying to send, you know, about 150 megs of data through a 100 meg channel. That was why we had frame rate issue. I misspoke. It was neither the camera nor the vMix. It was the operator, but you already knew that. All right, so the camera also has HDMI and SDI outputs. I think it's even got composite. I don't know that anybody would ever use that, but I guess it's there if you need it. Oh, sorry about that. Let me turn this thing off. Rookie mistake? I'm hardly a rookie, Dave, but I mean Rich. But yeah, it was a rookie mistake. It was a rookie mistake with this camera. That's right, rookie with the camera. So the idea is, number one, I want to show you the camera. I want to show you the interface for the camera, and then we'll do some things with it and see how that changes it. So the first thing we need to do is find the camera on our network. So let me add a desktop capture. We'll just do a local desktop capture of our first display. Oh, or that may be our second display. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is not really a web page. This is just this is part of my desktop. So we'll just minimize that for a second. What I wanted to show you was something called the Bonjour browser. And let me sharpen up this. Sharpen. That should help just a little bit. And in fact, just for the moment, why don't we just blow it up a little bit so maybe you can see a little more easily. Well, let's get the right one. Here we go. Let's try again. There you go. Okay, so this is the Bonjour browser, and this is what happens when it comes up. It just comes right up. And it tells me that my BirdDog is BirdDog-4F298. Now that's important because if I want to address that camera on my network, I have to go back to that. So let's reset this. And let's bring up that web page. That was 4F298. Okay, so we're going to bring up a blank page, and it's going to be, well, there's one that I was using earlier. I can oh, no, I guess I can't modify that. BirdDog-4F298.local. And if I've got that right, that should bring up the interface. Nope. Did you mean to go to HTTP? Sure, let's try that. Okay, so let's go full frame. Okay, so now I can enter a password, and I'm going to tell you my password. What I really want to do is I want to give you a little me there. So can we do that? I'm going to take a little whoops, not the clock. Let's go there, and we'll go there. And then I can just be kind of over here in the corner. Okay, I feel better when I'm on the screen. So let's crop me a little bit, a little left, a little right. Thank you very much. And then we'll blow me back up a little bit more. There we go. All right, I feel much better now. It's all about me. Okay, so we're going to go in, we're going to type the password, and the password is BirdDog, BirdDog. That's the default password. I thought that was pretty cool. It wasn't admin or 123 or anything like that. And I'm going to click OK, and Google's going to say, you want to save that password? And it says the password is invalid. Oh no, do I have my caps locks on by accident? Let's try again. BirdDog. Waiting for BirdDog. There we go. All right. So this is the dashboard, and it comes up and it tells me the BirdDog name is BirdDog. The network configuration is DHCP, so I haven't set a fixed IP address. The current address is 192.168.1.85, and I'll need that in vMix if I want to let vMix control the PTZ functions of the camera. So I need the IP address. So that's where you get it right there. And then the mask, of course. The NDI video format is embedded. Not sure what that means yet, but it's 1080p 2997, and I could have had it at 5994, and it probably would have worked just fine. Status, there's a serial number. It was the last 4 digits of the serial number that we used in the address of the camera. And then the firmware version, which, oh, it's not up to date. Oh, that's right. I updated that other one before I shipped it. The current firmware is 3.3. This one apparently is 3.1. I'm not sure what the difference is, but you know, if there's an update and it comes from BirdDog, I think you want it because it's going to enable it to have wings or make coffee or something like that. The other tabs across the top here allow us to go into different functions. So let's go into the network tab. And we can set it for a static IP address. This is where we would do it. We can set the timeout, the fallbacks, and the name. And we're going to leave all that as is at the moment because it's the default setting, and that way we'll know what it is. So we can go to the PTZ function now. Just click PTZ, and we have 3 submenus. The first is control. And so we can make some presets. It looks like we've got 9 different presets here. And these, again, are not vMix presets, but they're presets within the BirdDog interface. So let's close that back up again. We'll go to settings. And settings allows us to set a VISCA address. And in this case, it's just number 1. It's the only one on the network, so we're not worried about it. We've got the PTZ, the PT set on max speed. And this is through the VISCA control. All right, and we can also set the baud rate, of course. But we're not controlling it over, well, we probably are controlling it over VISCA. And then we've got the on-screen display. OSD is on-screen display. So we can turn that on or off. As you can see, it's turned it on right over my face. And I can use these buttons to go through the menu if I want to. We're not going to do that, so we'll turn that off. That's one of the neat things about the BirdDog PTZ keyboard, the USB keyboard, is that you can get access to all of that stuff through the keyboard. So if you're operating it, you're operating the joystick, or you're zooming, or you're switching cameras, you can get into the particular guts of a camera and change the color setting or auto white balance or whatever it might be. Okay, so let's go to System. Here we've got 3 other submenus. Password settings, current password, new password, confirm new password. Well, we're not going to change that. System update. This is where we would update the firmware. I'm not going to do it, but I can see, yeah, I've downloaded the firmware, and this is BirdDog P200 3.3.FW. The .FW says, that's right, firmware. So we're not going to do that. So we'll do that later. Maybe we'll do that in post-show. We'll do that in post-show. NDI network settings. Now we're getting into the NDI portion of it, where we can set the multicast, prefix, and mask, the total number of multicasts, the NDI discovery server, and the server IP. We're not going to mess with any of that because, frankly, we're not sure exactly what it does. And then we can go to the AV setup. And this is where some of the good stuff is. So the NDI audio video setup is right here. And this is where we can get into a little bit more of the NDI. For example, this is where we can set the resolution and frame rate. I think previously it was set to 5994. We've got, of course, we've got 2997p, 60p, 5994p, 50p, 30p, and 25p, and then interlaced we've got 60i, 5994i, and 50i. And then at 720 we've got 60, 5994, and 50. And it looks like that's the slowest frame rate we've got for the 720s. That's pretty cool. So we'll leave that set right there. The NDI video bandwidth, basically we can choose, what we're going to ask NDI to do. Whoops, what did we do there? We pressed an extra mouse button. Careful on that. Oh, we were here. That's why we did. Currently we are set for full 180 megabits per second. And let's just check in Task Manager and see what we're set for. Ethernet is set to, it's receiving 182. So that would be about right. So we have the opportunity. In fact, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. We're going to pull this off to the side for just a second. And we'll draw this down to about, let's draw it down to we'll draw it down to 100. There's 100. And then we'll drag this back in, and you can see that now our bit rate has dropped down to 113, 115. Some of that's overhead, and some of it I'm sure is just averages. So let's draw it back up. Unfortunately, yeah, let's see. Can I leave that? How about we minimize that? There we go. So we can see both of them at the same time. So we'll draw this back up. And as we draw it back up, we can notice that that number is going to come back up to what we wanted. So basically we can see that we have the ability to choose how much video, how much bandwidth we're going to take with our video. And since we've got plenty of bandwidth here, we'll leave it at the top. And then we've got the NDI tally, and it's currently disabled. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if I enabled it, what happened? Ah, it turned red. Oh my gosh. Well, let's go look at that. Let's see. Let's go back to this shot right here. Now, when I did, I don't know if you saw, the red light went out. So let's see. Let's play a game with this for a second. So give me a second. What I'm going to do, I've got two inputs here for the same camera. So I'm going to take that one. I'll give you that one. You can see the coloration is a little different. And I'm going to add a multi-view to the other one, which is the BirdDog camera. And so we'll go ahead and smash that down. Put it in the top right corner. Bear with me just one second. I promise I'm coming back. I guess I could show you all this stuff, but it's not that important. All right. So this is me. You can see over here, and since I'm in the picture, the tally light came on. You saw the tally light right there. So as I go back to the other camera that doesn't have me in it, out goes the tally. In comes the tally. There goes the tally. Off, on. Hey, that's pretty cool. That's nice. Now, I wonder, does it have a preview tally? It doesn't appear to have a preview tally. So it's either on or off. Interesting. Okay. Well, now we know more about that than we did before. So that is the tally function right down here, right there. So let's close this menu back. We'll leave the tally on. That's kind of cool. Now we're into camera controls. We've got, let's go back full screen here so we can see it all. And we've got all sorts of modes of exposure. We've got full auto, manual, shutter priority, and iris priority. We've got slow shutter off and on. We've got an S shutter limit. That would be slow shutter limit. The AE response, the gain limit. The gain, the EX comp, and the EX comp, that would be exposure comp and exposure comp level. That's currently off. All those are set to off. So we're doing full auto. So taking a look at the white balance here, we're on auto white balance. And we've got the ability, I guess, we could turn it on various forms. In fact, why don't we do that and just see how it is. This is indoor. Not much change there. Here's outdoor. Well, there was some change. It just took a second. All right, here's outdoor. A little bit more orange. One push. That's a little bit closer to the automatic. An ATW. There you go. And then manual, outdoor auto. Not much difference there for me. And then SLV. What in the world is SLV? Maybe somebody knows about that. Let's just go back to auto, and we'll leave it on auto. Bing, auto. Pricing, I think in the U.S. it's $29.95. It was less, and then the tariffs got it. I think it was like $22.95, and tariffs have juiced up the price. How can Tom update the description when he doesn't know what's going on either? Thank you. Well, okay, John. All right. Let's see. Where is my social page? There we go. John said you should also be able to use the address BirdDog-F4F24 in place of the IP address in vMix. Well, that's good. We'll try that in just a second. Anthony said you should update the stream video description so people joining the stream late have some idea of what's going on. Well, Anthony, that would have required me to have decided this in advance. Let's go back over here. Okay, there we go. So we're back on auto. We'll collapse that menu down. We'll go into picture one. Picture one is set for everything off. That is, we're doing normal. And picture two, I suspect there's an option for another stream of video. So that's probably what the picture two is. And then there's the log out. And now we're back to there. So let's do this. Let's go back into the guts of vMix for just a second for the camera and see if we can change the PTZ address. So we'll disconnect it and we'll put in BirdDog-4F298. We'll get that right. And we're going to connect, and it says you only one usage of each socket address is normally permitted. Do we have to put the .local on there, I think? LOCAL, let's try that. Connect. An address incompatible with the requested protocol was used is the message. Let's make sure we got it right. BirdDog-4F298. Yeah. Well, that's not going to work. So we'll go back to what we were on before. Okay. No, it doesn't want to connect with that. Let's see. Let's go back and find our... We'll get rid of that. Bear with me 1 second. Let's go back and verify our IP address. BirdDog. That's the password. Oh, it's .85. That's why. Whoops, we froze. If you can still hear me, it looks like we've locked up vMix, or we've locked up the BirdDog cam, which is locked up vMix. Let's go here and see if we can do that. vMix is not responding. Okay. Okay, let's see where we are here. So, at some point, you guys should be coming back online. Gunner can hear. Am I back? Back now. Okay, there we go. All right. So whatever it was I did, don't do that. Don't follow John Lynn's advice. That was what I did. I followed his advice. And we tried to change the camera, the PTZ address, to the BirdDog dash, whatever the serial number address was. And that's when everything crapped out. So we'll send that in to Martin. Marie says, we're online. It was you that disappeared. There you go. Okay. Good as gold. Moving again back now. Thank you very much. Great. All right. So, yeah, we won't do that again. Or we won't do that again with, with you guys watching. Let's see. Where are we here? What is it we shouldn't do? What you shouldn't do is try things you haven't tried before a live show. But that's the nature of this show. No, what I did, Dave, was I went into, oh, heck, let me show you. We'll try it. So let me add a screen capture. And I'm going to capture my vMix window. vMix, let's see if I've got vMix here. Nope, that's not the vMix window I wanted to capture. Let's try the other one. Add input. I wish you could see thumbnail of what was in there instead of just a, there we go. Okay. So we're going to go live with that. That's my current desktop, and we're going to sharpen it. There we go. So it's a tad sharper for you. I've got 57 inputs that we're working with today. This is Pro. This is working on an 8-core CPU system. So there's, some basic details. I think it's a 2070 RTX 2070 video card. Currently, the render time is 4 milliseconds. The GPU memory is 58%. CPU vmix is 9%. Total is 15%. And we're streaming. We were recording, but that glitched out. So let's go into the cam. Oh, you know what? Let's change this, and we'll do a screen capture, not a vmix window capture, because I want you to be able to see everything. So let's see. I think this is display 1. And yeah, now you should be able to see when I go into, yeah, there we go. So I went to the PTZ tab for the camera, and I had verified in BirdDog's dashboard that this is the correct address, 192.168.1.85. And what we did, shall we try it again? Let's try it again. Was we went to try to put in, as Jan said, we could put in the address dash 4F 298. And we'll do the dot. Well, last time when we did the dot local, that's when we had trouble. And so when we click connect, we got this error message. An address incompatible with the requested protocol was used. We could send an error report, but let's just close it. And then we tried the same thing when we did dot local. Did I put a dot in there? Yeah. And we tried to connect, and we got the same error message. So we'll take that out. And then we went here, and I selected 192.168.1.121, and there was nothing at that address, and that's when everything bombed out. So let's go back to .85, and we'll try to connect there. Now we're connected. Now we can move the camera. So we'll have to play with that again, maybe in post-show or something like that. But basically, it just locked up vmix. Locked her right up. So don't ever do that. That's the moral of that story. Don't ever do that. Can't you just copy from browser? Sure, we'll try that. The browser does have the appendage dashboard on it, though. So we were trying to stay away from that. But I'm game. We'll do it one more time. That way we can find out. So let's go here so you can see too. And we'll go here. We'll disconnect. We'll put in a new address. And this is everything except the dashboard appendage right at the end. We'll try to connect. And no such host is known. So it didn't work for me. It may work for you. And let's go back to .85. We'll connect there. There we go. And now we've got the ability, to zoom or focus. So that's interesting. We learned something about either about vmix or about the camera or about both. The fact that the BirdDog guys are in Australia and the vmix guys are in Australia, I guess that's like saying everybody is in the U.S. Australia's a big country. But we would hope maybe they can get that worked out. Jan said, Barton needs to fix that. You should be able to use the FQDN. I'm not going to even attempt to tell you what that is. Spinning is not winning. That's right. That's right. Rich says, ain't going to work. Camera is not set for WINS. Wow. See? There you go. Marie says, but your motto is, I'll do the mistake so you don't have to. That's right. That's right. And now he's doing a mini dump. No. Let's don't go there. Jan says, do you already have one connection to the PTZ control? You probably cannot add a second. No, this would be, I don't think I've got more than one. I think I've just got the one camera. Yeah, I don't have any other instances of this camera. So there shouldn't be any other calls for it. Yeah. When it bombed out, I wasn't using the BirdDog address. I was simply using the wrong, the wrong IP address. So there we go. Fully qualified domain name. Got it. Thank you very much. Rich says, are there 2 Ethernet ports on that cam? No, there's 1 Ethernet port. Well, there are 3 RJ45 jacks, but only one of them, careful which finger you use, only one of them is Ethernet. The other 2 are, I think, control. Whether it's Visca, I don't recall. I'd have to look at the back of the camera. So the camera's pretty slick. Now, size-wise, it is about 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches bigger than the PTZ Optics camera. It's a little bit more forbidding looking. Because it's kind of dome shaped instead of just being the lens. Windows Internet Name Standard. Thank you very much. Jan says camera is wired for DNS. You can tell by Tom's use of the host name .local in the browser. Yeah. What he said. So the availability of these cameras is a little mixed. It looks like there are a lot of whites available. I'm not sure about the blacks. I'm going to place an order here for some more. Apparently there's a deal going, and if you want the deal, I'd be happy to help you get it. There's a deal going through tomorrow, probably through Friday. I think it's going through the 31st of the month. And if you buy 3 cameras, and this is a big money deal, but if you buy 3 P200s, you get the keyboard free. The keyboard is $1,500. So, you've taken a big chunk out of $9,000 here, but you get a $1,500 keyboard for free. And then there's another deal with the P100, which is their little 10x 10x zoom. I didn't mention it. This one's 30x. This will show your nose hairs, man. This one's amazing. And you don't want to see that. No, you don't want to see that. Now I lost my train of thought. The P100 is a 10x, and I think it has HDMI and SDI in it. Also, full NDI. The normal price on the P100, I say the normal price, the list price, is $1,500. And the deal is, I think if you buy 3 P100s, you get some dollars off on the keyboard, maybe like $400 or $500, something like that. It's not a free keyboard at that point. So there are some benefits to that. This was the deal that they ran in June, and they extended it for an extra month. I don't know if that was part of the plan or what, but it's a pretty good deal. And again, I think we're going to lay in at least one deal just to have it in stock in case somebody needs it. We may use it for the Performing Arts Center. We'll just have to see. But yeah, it's a pretty cool little cam. Pretty cool little cam. It does get my recommendation, and as compared to to compare it, and it's probably an unfair comparison, but to compare it to the PTZ Optics 12X that I use a lot of the time as the studio cam, which is, 1080p, 2997. I think the optics are better. The interface to control the camera or to make adjustments to it is a lot cleaner. The on-screen display is all on-screen displays are clunky. Nobody has a good on-screen display, but the IP interface is very easy to use, and it looks good. It's not something that looks like it came out of MS-DOS, like the one from PTZ Optics does. And the one from PTZ Optics has parts of it that don't even work. So it's, yeah. But I will say the BirdDog guys did not attempt to bring an image of the camera into their online interface, which is one of the things that doesn't work in the PTC optics interface, online interface. All right, so we've kind of beat that horse to death. If you would like to try, if you're in the States and you would like to try one of these cameras, let me know. I'll see if I can get a demo to you. It's a, again, I think $29.95 is the retail price. The deal is 3 of the P200s, buy 3 of them at retail price and get the $1,500 USB PTZ keyboard for free. So that's a pretty good deal, but only if you need it. But for a lot of churches, that might be the right mix. And this is a very good camera, very good camera. It's probably the best camera we've ever had here in the Streaming Idiot studio. Tim wants to know, is my good studio light off today? Well, I'm at my desk. I'm not in the studio, so we're dealing with kind of a mishmash of lighting. So that's the ticket. So we're going to close out this part of the show, and we'll go to the post show, and maybe we'll try to bomb vMix again. So stick around. We'll be right back. That wasn't supposed to happen. All right, let's get the post show ready here. 1 second. That ought to do it. Post show. There we go. There's the post show. All right. So there we go. So that's some interesting stuff. Oh, isn't that neat? I see the little tally light on. It was really interesting because I had sent one of these out on demo. Actually, I had it drop shipped to them, so I never touched it. And when I got it back off of demo, I noticed that it was different from this one right here that I've been using. I've been using this one just to get familiar with it. I mean, I don't want to sell something that I don't know anything about, frankly. That's the deal. When somebody calls me and says, Tom, can you recommend a camera? Well, I'm not going to go to the spec sheet and look. I want to go to my memory and say, yeah, we've used this camera. It's going to work really well in your circumstance. So I've been playing with the camera for probably not, well, I've been gone the last 2 weeks, but prior to that, probably for 2 weeks. And then I got sent one back on demo, off a demo, and before I could do anything else with it, somebody wanted to buy it, so it shipped out to them this morning. But before it did, of course, I wanted to check out, make sure everything was working well. And yeah, they got a deal because they bought the demo. So, and you're saying, well, can I buy a demo and then return it and then buy it? No, you can't do that. But what I noticed is when I plugged it in to check it, and I brought up vMix because I wanted to check the, the quality of the image and all that, the tally light was on. And I thought, oh, this is interesting. There must be a way to turn it on in vMix. Nope, couldn't find any way to turn it on in vMix. It must be a purely NDI thing that that the camera realizes when it's live. Why it doesn't realize when it's in preview, I don't know. That's an interesting question. And maybe it's just not a feature. So it's got a nice little green light right below the lens that lets me know that it's on. As you saw in the demo earlier, that green light will flicker to yellow or amber or orange, depending on how you want to look at it, when the camera is being moved or panned, tilted, or zoomed. And then the big red tally light on the top, probably a 1/2 inch tall by 3/8 of an inch wide. Well, maybe it's bigger than that. It looks like it's about a half. Anyway, it's that big. It's as big as the top joint of my finger. So it's pretty good. So it definitely will catch your attention. Now, I haven't tried. I mean, I'm only 4 feet away from it, 5 feet away from it. I haven't tried it across a room or on the other side of an amphitheater or something like that to see how well it does. But that's a good thought. If we do the install in that Performing Arts Center, we need to find out from them if they want those lights. Oh, well, we can turn the tally light off. Yeah, that's right. And we need to have the on-off light illuminated so we can know if the camera is functioning and getting power and that kind of thing. Okay, sorry about that. Martin says traditional tally lights are program only. Okay, so it's a design feature. Good, thank you, sir. And Ferguson, USA Hot Talk Radio, thanks for the demo. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's a cool little camera. Cool little camera. I like it. I like it. I think I want to keep one. Actually, what I want to do, what I would really like to do is I'd really like to take it down to my church and try it out in the church. Currently now at church, we've got a PTZ Optics 12X down there that we are doing video over IP. So we're doing power, control, and video over IP. And of course, as you know, well, you may not know, but the PTZ Optics camera, the video over IP, I mean, it's good. We had to bump up the buffer because we were not able to apparently exchange data fast enough. So we've got a buffer set in vMix for almost a half a second, which makes operation a little, a little dicey sometimes because, I'm hearing music that's live versus the music that's actually in the broadcast, which is delayed. So that can be a little disconcerting. So it might be interesting to try this one out there. Of course, this is probably twice the price of the PTZ Optics 12X. So it's not a fair comparison. But I would be interested to see what a 30X would do in a space like that. I would imagine it's probably, I need to go measure it, but I think it's probably 50 feet from the back wall to the subjects, to the priest and the worship leader. So there we go. And Jan is reading my mind because I was just thinking about that. Yes, I have a 100 Mbps switch at the church that I would have to figure out how to work around. So the frame rate would be, oh, well, yeah, we found it out earlier. So we just draw down the camera's bit rate. So I could draw it down to under 100. So that would work. So there's some nice flexibility built into this camera. In fact, that would be interesting to check it. Is to take a traditional, PoE switch, and by the way, I think this camera is PoE plus. But to take a traditional PoE switch, I say traditional. Hell, I don't know if it's traditional or not, but a PoE plus switch out to the church and let this camera go full bore at 180 megabits per second. And see what we're getting in that situation. Might be fun to do. I've actually been asked to do a funeral, not this week, but next week, a week from tomorrow. So that might be a good opportunity to try something like that live. Funerals these days, even in the best of times, not everybody can travel. And certainly in a time like this, the traveling is going to be far, far less. So the live stream will become more and more important. Well, guys, I've got to go get geared up for the worship summit. I think I'm on at 3:30. I didn't mention that, but 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern, so about 35 minutes. So I need to get geared up for that. And actually, Alan Butt and I we recorded an interview, me interviewing him. We did it on Monday night, and that's what's going to be broadcast today. So you've probably heard a lot of the story about how Al has worked in live streaming in his church, golly, for like 11 years. But it's a great story, and we go through all that story and talk about how they grew and what their gear was and what their gear is now. Of course, it was a PC that I built for him. anyway, that's the story. So, and next week we will have a very exciting episode. Not a clue what it will be. Otis says, what type of audio delay to place on full NDI versus NDI HX? Well, Otis, the audio delay that we have here, and I can tell you, I mean, how does this look? Does this look pretty good? Am I on? I don't know that I've checked it. Let's see. The current audio delay that's set is 150 milliseconds. So that's about 5 frames of video. And you can tell me how close that is to being spot on. I may have too much delay in the audio. NDI-HX, I think, is supposed to be about the same. Now, video over IP is a whole different ballgame because you don't have any of the friendliness of NDI to work hard for you. So there you go. And I don't have an NDI-HX device of any kind. No, I don't have an NDI-HS device of any kind here. So there you go. Otis says it's spot on. Okay, well, then 150 milliseconds is working with this system in this location and that camera over my network. And again, you know, everybody's situation is going to be just a little bit different, just a little bit different. I'm not doing PoE. I'm doing shore power, you know, plugged into the wall power on this camera. I need to get a PoE plus switch. That's what I need. Anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Would love to have you, love to see you in the audience at the Worship Summit. Just Google Worship Summit. It should pop right up. And we'll do about a 30-minute interview with Al, and then we'll go to, and I think Al's going to, see, Al wasn't going to be able to be there for the interview live, but I think he's going to be able to be there for the Zoom room breakout session afterwards. So, but you can get all that information over at the Worship Summit. Just Google Worship Summit. That'll take you to the website, and you can watch live and then plug into whatever's going on Zoom as well. Great hanging out with you guys. And just you know, miss hanging out with you, and miss hanging out with those of you that we were going to hang out together in April at NAB, and you know, this coming September at IBC. You know, we'll just have to tough it out until we can meet again, eyeball to eyeball. And it also may be the kind of thing that, you know, if you're thinking, golly, gee whiz, you know, when everybody gets vaccinated, and we can meet again, and they have these things again, you know, I want to go. Well, now's a great time to start saving up and make it a trip of a lifetime, to hit NAB in Las Vegas or IBC in Amsterdam. Certainly, you know, IBC last year for me was a trip of a lifetime, and I appreciated vMix for making that possible for me. Anyway, see you guys. As you may heard, my phone's ringing off the hook, so I'm going to go try to address some of that before we get back on this other thing. I'd love to see you guys in a few minutes, but otherwise I will see you next week. If I can help you in any way, you know how to get me. There's a contact form at easternshorebroadcasting.com, and I'm happy to have that to answer any questions you have. So let me fade out with this, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.